Hi, everybody. I was bored, and I just decided to, hang out for a few minutes. I have to take Champers out in a little bit. He's right here in my lap. There he is. He loves to boogie. He loves to boogie. How are you this afternoon? It is almost 1 o'clock here in Sin City, Las Vegas. What's the temperature? The temperature is, it's 100 degrees, 102. Yay! 102, and the fucking humidity is absolutely ridiculous. I see there's people in here, so if you popped in, go over to the comment section and say hi. That way I know you're here. I love this music. It just puts me in a good mood. Isn't that right, Champ? Yes, it does. Oh, my little guy. Oh. So how's everybody doing today? Those of you that are popping in. It's just one of those shows that I just felt like, hey, Michael, I'm excited about the new projects you're working on, and I really enjoyed sharing your story. Oh, thank you, Veronica. There it is. Veronica Albasam. Did I pronounce that right? Veronica Albasam. Yeah, we got a bunch of new stuff going on. A couple of cool things brewing. But you know me, it never stops. You have to constantly come up with new things to do, reinvent yourself and things like that. Veronica, I forgot. Where are you at? I forgot. What part of the country? Anyway, let's see. So me and Champs here. Hold on, let me take this down. I know Champs cannot stand it when I give more attention to the computer than him. He gets so funny. He's like, Dad, it's all about me. It's not about you. And it's so funny. Tennessee. You're in Tennessee. That's right. I was in Tennessee, Veronica. Oh, Veronica, you like the way I say your name? Veronica Elbasam. But yeah, I was like, what part of Tennessee? Because remember, I lived in Nashville for a while. Oh, this little fart. I just love this music. It's a karaoke version of LTD Every Day, Back in Love Again. Oh. I had some friends that lived in Knoxville. We're not friends anymore, sadly, because of the election way back. He was a Trumper, a gay Trumper. I just don't understand that. It makes no sense to me, but hey, God bless him. My friend Tim, we were friends for a long, long, long time, but I just couldn't understand the racist, bigoted side of him that I never knew existed. Where the nut jobs keep making the news and not for the right reasons. Knoxville. Too funny. Let's see. I have to keep looking over here because I'm streaming on my Facebook page, my Facebook profile, and Esther's page. So those of you that are on Esther's page that are popping in right now, just know that at this particular point, I'm not dressed as Esther. This is what I look like without the makeup. And I didn't go into the Paul Lynde show. Some people got irritated. Can you believe that? Some people got irritated because why are you using the Paul Lynde profile to advertise this woman, this Jewish woman? And I'm like, I want to go, you dumb idiot people. I am the old Jewish woman. I am Paul Lynde when I get into the makeup. People are so funny. They never cease to amaze me at all. But I am still shocked over last week's That's Entertainment, where I came on and just spilled my guts and people asked me questions. It's one of the highest rated shows ever that I ever did. I'm just like, wow, I didn't expect it because my buddy John Hall, director, professor at UCLA, musical theater, one of the greats of the theater world at UCLA. He was there for 35 years. He had said to me, why don't you just go on and ask yourself questions? Just be you. And I said, cool. And then my friend Sloan, who's a psychic medium, she had said to me, you need to rotate. Be Esther, be Michael, be Paul, be crazy Aunt Susie, do them all. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to do that. So that's what I've been doing. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Elizabeth, the crazy bitch that spray painted and harassed the teens. Wait a minute. Hold on. What is that? Let's see. What is this now, Veronica? Elizabeth, that stormed. Oh, Elizabeth that stormed the Capitol, and the crazy bitch that painted and harassed the teens that painted it for pride. The Capitol. Okay, I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds like a-holes were there in Knoxville. I guess Knoxville or the Capitol in Washington, D.C. All right, I'm going to take that down. I know there's people here. If you're here, I see you. I mean, you're not commenting, but it's funny because I can tell people when they're here and they're watching, but they don't say anything. They're like phantoms. Yeah. By the way, behind me is, I forgot to put this away. It's the Paul Lynde wig from the Paul Lynde show. And then that's psychic, the kosher psychic that I'm putting together. And my friend Allie Cheslick, God rest her soul, she's no longer with us. She sent me this giant sugar daddy. Look at the size of this thing. Is that crazy? So she sent it to me years ago, and I just love it. It's one of those cool things that is, that just makes me smile and happy. Let's see who else. Veronica, you're the only one chatting. And did my grandmother inspire me for Esther? No, not at all. Esther was inspired by a woman who used to work at the Bullock's Wilshire department store in Beverly Hills on Wilshire, and her name was Esther Goldstein, and she worked at the Lancome counter back in the 80s, and she was the inspiration for the voice of Esther. But Esther is like, everybody has an Esther in their family. Everybody has an Esther in their ethnic heritage, whether you're Jewish, Italian, Spanish, everyone has that type of character. Hey, Barbara DeBella, how are you? Hey, Carla Gregory. Oh, good. And let's see. Yeah, I've always you need to watch the show on YouTube. It's I don't know if you saw it last week, Veronica, but it was pretty cool. I kind of like spilt my guts out. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put the URL down here and you can find it. Let's see. God dang, I have so much crap here. Here we go. And I have 15 minutes. He goes, okay, hold on. I don't want that. Share, copy, and there we go. Well, she's coming back with her. That's weird. There it is. I put the where's Paul? Paul's in's right here, Paul. His hair is right here. Paul's hair is the wig for Paul Lynde is right here. Isn't that cool? That is human hair. My friend Laura, who's a fabulous wig maker, designed this. And but yeah, that's the Paul Lynde wig. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And okay, hold on. I'm trying to keep this from falling over. Oh, you did see it. Well, see, if you remember, you probably didn't see the whole thing because I explained how Esther was created, I believe, during that, how we found her. But yeah, that's the crazy old crone is based on that, Okay, here we go. It's funny because I forget in the actual comment that I see. All the comments come through on my page, but you only see what's on Facebook. You don't see what's on the other streaming services, but it is. Yeah, Paul's here. He's just Paul Barassi. His wig's there. He's in spirit with me, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, Carla. You just be you after all, is what Carla Gregory said. Carla Gregory and I went to high school together. We actually lived I think we lived on the same street. I can't remember. Crown Point Lane. Is that what that was? It was Crown Point Lane. Back in the day. So long ago. But yeah, so that's it. I'm just killing time. It's kind of cool to be able to do this, where you just all of a sudden you can turn on the camera and speak to the world and people are there. And I'm checking other things going on. Did you believe they just arrested that guy who was ran Trump's inaugural committee that spent $107 or $170 million? There, all that stuff is just crazy. But crazy. So here we are, the 20th of July. And what am I drinking? I am drinking actually cranberry, a simply cranberry, half sparkling water from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has this sparkling water that's non-sweetened. And so the cranberry juice is so sweet that I do half and half. So they have this cran orange sparkling water at Trader Joe's that is so good. So I put half of that and then put in half of that. But no, vodka, it's too early for vodka yet. Vodka comes out later. Let's see, where are we at here? I put that up. But yeah, it's back to what I was saying. Here it is, July the 20th. And the middle of summer, kind of, sort of. And I'll see what summer started June 21st. So we're the first month. So we're a third of the way through summer. Anybody doing anything for vacation? Which is kind of cool. If you're doing anything for vacation, you're going out of town. Barbara DeBella, did I say hello to you? There's Barbara DeBella. She's here. Hey, Barbara. Barbara's one of my dear friends of many, many years. We go back to the 80s. Hey, James Milner. Yes, you can always tell my good friends that say, hey, you dirty hooker. James, you want to come on and talk about the what happened today with the Justice Department arresting that what the hell is it? Oh God, the guy from Trump's campaign. Hold on. Let me see. You always make me laugh. Let's see. Invite. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if you're able to do it, but I'm going to send you an invite just in case you want to pop on. I just love it. James always gets me going because you haven't showered today. Well, put on a baseball cap and sunglasses. Go as Greta Garbo. Yeah, I love it when you come on because you talk about so many cool things. And Barbara just said hi back. Paul, Italia, Paul Barassi, Mortacci due alla Madonna. That's right. Barbara is Italian. She and her sister. Don't piss them off. You don't piss off Italian women. No way, no how. But Barbara's dad was Joe DeBella, who was famous makeup artist at Warner Brothers. I mean, he did so many of the biggest stars. And so Barbara's putting together a lot of pictures and stuff so I can add them to his IMDb to update it because it's pretty cool. So it's pretty cool. Champers is still laying here in my lap. I'm part Sicilian. Marina Anderson, you're part Sicilian too. You know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, those women. You just say you're right. They're never wrong. You let them win every game. Mm-hmm. Not that I've ever had that with Barbara at all, but I've seen, you know, I've seen that what could tee her off. But I'm lucky that I don't have never teed her off. But anyway, so I guess James is throwing on a baseball cap, on a pair of sunglasses. He's going to do his Greta Garbo for me. But yeah, I don't know if y'all were reading, but they arrested the New York Times. Let's see, where was it? Lewis, maybe. Well, there's Lewis. Okay, Lewis is not there. Lewis, you should pop on, but he's not there. Hold on, let me see. You should. Oh, he doesn't use Facebook. You should pop on my StreamYard. Let's see. So I can do that. Let's see. StreamYard. Ba-da-boop-ba-boop. But you don't do Facebook, so I don't even know if you have an account anymore. If you piss me off, here you go. If you piss me off, do not eat the cannoli. That's so true. Hold on. Let me see. What's this? How did you meet my young friend from Spain that you met? Oh, little Diego. Diego is not little anymore. He's 21. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's very tall. He's got a girlfriend. They've been dating for a while, over a year or so now. And they're cruising the Mediterranean this summer on the family boat. But I just chatted at him last week. There was a long story. There's a video that I put up on Facebook that I did where I told the story of Diego, because some people were just really rude and didn't understand why a 14-year-old was talking to a gay man in the middle of the night. And I was talking. It's a long story. You know what? I'll put the video up. It's very heartwarming. But it changed my life. That little kid, and people like Barbara DeBella, they know Diego. He stayed with them in Los Angeles for a while, for a couple days, and it's pretty cool. Hold on, Paul Barassi, vacation. I'm going to Sicily, Catania, a town called Mineo, where I think Sal Mineo is from, at least his family. That's true. Oh, I didn't think that's right. That's right, Paul. There we go, Paul. Paul Barassi is a very handsome man. Paul, you were like, you came to see like one of the original Paul Lynde shows. Did you come to the Paul Lynde show in LA, or did you come to the one in Palm Springs? I can't remember. But I know that you came to one of them. But look up Paul. You'll recognize him. Paul did a lot of modeling and was also good friends with Paul Lynde, which was pretty cool. Palm Springs, right. And but yeah, he was very good friends with Paul. And I mean, there's pictures. I think you have it on your page. But yeah, pretty cool. We're trying to bring the Paul Lynde show back to the Desert Rose Theater there, but they won't return my phone calls or my emails. I haven't quite figured that out. We were trying to possibly bring the show, the Vegas version, the Vegas-sized version. See, Paul, you saw the Palm Springs version, which was fun. But when we got to Vegas, Barrese. Okay, sorry. Paul Barrese. But yeah, they just won't return my messages. Let me see. Let me check and see if they've written me today. Nope. Let's check the spam. Let's see, because sometimes it goes to spam. Let's see. Did they? I love spam. Let's see. The IRS, Surge MasterCard, FedEx, penis size, energy efficient, hookups near you, public records, the testing club, Fidelity Life, hottest bad girl. You just gotta love. Just gotta love your spam box on Gmail. Nope. I'll just delete them. But it's weird. I've written them twice and they just don't even write me back to say we're not even interested. There's some classic Paul. I wish if I had the questions, I have them recorded somewhere with whatchamacallit. Hold on. You know what? I think, let me see if I can find this. Hold on. I'm going to share video file. I had this really cool thing that I played the other day. Let me see if I can find it. It was this really cool thing that Peter Marshall did. Where the hell is it? There's Point X. Oh, here it is. Let me see if this will show up down here. Oh, hold on. There's James Milner. Hold on. Here we go. Hey, James.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What's he doing? He's probably taking his pills. There's everybody. You can see James with his pride hat, his Virginia pride.
Wait, I have to figure out the audio thing. There's like something.
You sound great.
Okay.
What are you doing? Can you hear me? Okay, he can't hear. We can hear him, but he can't hear us. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, you probably it's usually a button. Button.
Oh no, I was getting audio from both the Facebook stream and the StreamYard, which was
because you had the Facebook on. Yeah,
so
that happened the other day with Jason Stewart when he was on the show, and he was blaming all of us, and then we called him out and realized, Jason, turn the audio off, and he was like, it was very funny. It was funny. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was watching Frank Hagan. We all know Frank. Frank had texted me this morning and said, "Did you see what's just breaking? It's just breaking on MSNBC." And I was like, what? And it was like the feds arrested the guy who was the head of the Trump inaugural committee. Did you see that?
I did. What's his name? Thomas Barack. So it's, a Barack got arrested, but it's not the one that they wanted.
Mm-hmm. The one that Trump wanted to have arrested for no reason whatsoever. Right. But they've been after, what was it? Was it 107 or 170 million? It was the most ever for an inaugural. And but a lot of that money disappeared.
Right.
So that's what they're investigating. But then the New York Times put a story out a little bit ago, and the New York Times was did this little connection with the money and the favors and the political connections to meet the president that were all part of it. I was like, which has happened all the time, but we can't say that Trump is the only person that's done it. He just blatantly did it. And didn't care.
Yeah, but so this guy wasn't arrested for the inaugural committee work. He was arrested because he was of his work with the United Arab Emirates, where he was essentially taking bribes while he was and working through the Trump administration to grant favors. So the inaugural stuff is still yet to come down, but maybe they'll get him to flip or to talk about that as in order to get some of these other charges reduced. But, it's the whole Trump administration was nothing but a bunch of criminals.
Can you see what I just put up there? Paul Barasi said, "My God, Tom Barack was a Heidi Fleiss customer." And hold on, he offered to pay for Heidi's legal bills when she got arrested.
Well, so I take that back. The whole Trump administration was nothing but hookers and criminals. So
those are mostly the what were they? The ones that the White House spokespeople. Remember the blondes? They were all blondes except for Sarah Huckabee, the one that looked like Uncle Fester's long lost.
Oh my God,
child.
I know, poor thing. I mean,
running for governor.
Imagine having to be that ugly and go on TV every single day.
Oh, with the one eye.
Yes.
I love Trump. He's great.
Well, she's going to be the governor of Arkansas. So
you think she is?
Oh, absolutely. Of course she's going to win.
Because it's all rigged, or because of the gerrymandering?
Because just because name recognition, and her father was governor of Arkansas. And Trump's going to go campaign for her. So, they're going to win.
Oh, my God. I know. It's just scary. Now, okay. What do you think? I hope Nancy Pelosi does not allow Jim Jordan to be on the committee next week.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I think she might also be thinking that he could be that with his extremism on that committee, she actually might be able to leverage that politically about how just insane the Republicans are. But I mean,
but he doesn't shut up. He doesn't shut up. He screams. He never lets anybody. He's like a steamroller. He comes in and just goes and goes and goes.
Well, and he doesn't, that riles up the Republican base, but it doesn't do anything to help them win over independents and moderate people. And I think Nancy Pelosi is politically astute enough to know how to leverage that. So she's good about recognizing that when she can let the Republicans make fools of themselves. And I think that's maybe what she's hoping for.
Right, because every single one of them voted against the election results. All 5, and you're just like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, if Nancy Pelosi really wanted to do some good, she ought to put Marjorie Taylor Greene on the committee just so that the whole American public can see how ignorant she is.
But she's not allowed to be on anything, right?
Oh, that's true. She can't because we banned her from committees.
And she's banned everything. But it just makes me laugh. I'm telling you. Now, it's just total insanity. But I guess I was talking to Frank this morning and my friend John Hall yesterday. I'm going, what happened? What happened to America where we got to where we're at right now, where you can blatantly lie and try to tell the American public that what happened on January the 6th with a bunch of tourists, it wasn't that bad, as we see people getting murdered, windows being bashed. They took over the Senate floor, and it's just, what happened to our country?
Well, I mean, I know, but I mean, can you? So just imagine for a moment that those were Black Lives Matter protesters.
Oh, they'd have been.
I mean, and that did literally exactly the same thing. Like, did nothing different. The same, but just they were all different colors and different races, and with a different agenda going in there. Not that Black Lives Matter would ever do that, because that's just not the types of Americans that they are. Correct. But the Republicans, I mean, they would have burned Congress to the ground over this.
In a heartbeat.
And the fact that Democrats are not literally running video clips of that on television every single day, that I can't understand why they are not doing it.
Because we have an idiot running the DNC right now. We have basically a phantom figure who we never see, who's running the Democratic National Committee. I mean, one of the things that I wrote about it the other day, and that was all of a sudden those the folks from the ladies from Texas who went into the Capitol and were singing and protesting. These women was a peaceful protest. They were singing and they were arrested and handcuffed. Meanwhile, January 6th, fat ass redneck white motherfuckers came in with beating people to shit. None of them got arrested that day. None of them. But yet the ladies from Texas and the women that were with her, those black women, were arrested peacefully. They put their hands behind their back and were arrested. But it goes to show you that there's something wrong here. I mean, is it the duty of the Capitol Police to do that because they're disturbing? But nobody, from what I understood, I guess it was CNN or MSNBC, nobody complained about it. Nobody complained what they did that day. So it was a Capitol Police who made that decision.
Well, anyway. And I mean, the whole thing, all of it is so ridiculously hypocritical. I mean, you saw where, what's his name, the congressman from Georgia, what was his name? Andrew Clyde, that refused to shake hands with the Capitol Police officer who ran into him in the elevator.
Right.
And, and these people sit there and say that they support the police and that they back the blue and do all this other kind of stuff. And here's this man who his office admitted, yes, he didn't shake his hand. And it's like, have we really gotten to the point where, where Republicans just pretend that people that disagree with them don't exist? I mean, it's just so.
I get it's frustrating. It's just total frustration. It's like with what's going on with the ballot counting in Arizona and then trying to do it everywhere else. And you're just like, I mean, it's the biggest joke, but they've already proved that there was nothing, there was no fraud. One or two screwy little votes, but nobody arrested or anything like that. And it's like, I don't understand what's going on with the Justice Department, our Justice, Merrick Garland. I like Merrick Garland, but isn't there something that the Justice Department can do to go, they're desecrating democracy? Sometimes, I had this conversation yesterday. Tell me if I'm off my rocker and I'm crazy. Sometimes the freedom
well, you are, but besides
not a hawker. No, I guess what it is the sometimes the freedoms that we have. How do I say this without sounding like a total idiot? It's sometimes our freedom of speech gets us into trouble in a way that, you know, we have Nazis that are able to say whatever the hell they want. We have these Republicans able to tear down our democracy. There's got to be a point in our freedom of speech where sanity has to rule over insanity. Do you know what I'm saying? Freedom of speech, freedom of speech. And we can't do anything about it because why? We have the First Amendment. At the same time, when does treason or you take an oath to protect our country come in to overpower that part of what we call freedom of speech? Does that make any sense? What I'm trying to say?
No, I mean no. Well, I mean, and to some degree, the Constitution grants us wide freedoms, correct, but it also depends on society having good common sense, and it assumes that that most of us want what's best for this country,
right?
And I think that's where the juxtaposition of our freedoms versus what is good and just for this country. And this is not a new problem. I mean, you know, we've certainly dealt with this for hundreds of years in this country. Right. You know, going back to, you know, the issues of slavery and racism and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I mean, I often say, you know, that in order for those of us, for the majority of us to enjoy those freedoms, whether they be freedom of speech, of religion, or whatever else, we have to put up with the fact that there are people that will use that for ill, for bad, for, you know, for things like that. So, you know, I often say, like, as much as I absolutely abhor and oppose and find disgusting the KKK, I do, and you will find, like, the ACLU will actually sometimes defend the KKK, because if they don't have that freedom, then none of us have it. So I have to kind of wrap my head around it in that way. But there should be limits about the disinformation. And, you know, I think about this with vaccines, with like what's happening with vaccines right now.
Oh, God, right.
Which is that there should be some way to shut Fox News and Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene up, legally shut them up about spreading the lies about vaccines, because it is literally killing people.
Right. I mean,
there should be some standard that says when people are dying as a result of what it is that you're saying, you should no longer be able to say what you're saying.
I guess that's what I was trying to get to. But you so eloquently put it in the right words. I'm sitting there starting going, what the hell? No, it's where do we draw the line on killing people? Where do we draw the line on you know, the lies, the big lie? I mean, there's a difference between freedom of speech and there's a difference between lying and jeopardizing our democracy. And I don't mean that as some fanatical, crazy liberal. It's like, hello, these people, and I have friends who are Republicans, but they're not the crazy ones that are the Federalists or the crazies. But it's like some of them want to take it back.
Well, I don't know if you saw the recent article in the Washington Post that detailed the pressure put on the Justice Department by the White House leading up to in the days after, you know, certainly immediately following November 3rd last year, all the way through the up until almost the day before the inauguration, and the absolute, I mean, what the White House was doing wasn't illegal is beyond me. I know. You know, and the fact that, you know, even how close our democracy came to breaking in those moments, because if Bill Barr had decided that he was going to allow or to follow Trump's line of thinking in all of this and to pursue all of that, we would have had a absolute crisis. They would have overturned the elections in states that Biden legitimately won. And they would have figured out a way to do it. And it would have caused a massive crisis in this country. I mean, it, obviously already caused a crisis, but even worse. So
right. Paul Barassi just said Biden announced an hour ago that the only people dying are the ones that did not take the vaccine.
Yep.
Well, Paul, I can tell you this right now. The statistics came out. I think it's like 98.3% of the people with COVID right now are the ones that didn't get the vaccine. And 99% of the people in certain states that didn't get vaccinated are the ones that are dying. But what I wrote a story about this. I posted a story about this the other day and said, CNN, stop it. Stop it, stop it,
Yep.
stop. MSNBC, stop this BS, because our own sort of supposed liberal middle of the road media is just as guilty for clickbaiting when they go, when the 4 Democrats from Texas tested positive for COVID. Yes, they tested positive for COVID, but they're not dying because guess what? They got the vaccine. It doesn't make it severe.
I actually know, I have a number of fully vaccinated friends who have contracted COVID, and it's the Delta variant. One of my friends was in Provincetown, and Provincetown apparently is a hotspot for the Delta variant right now. Of course, you've got a bazillion horny men that are, dancing on a dance floor, whatever. All of that's whatever. That's all good. Go do it. I don't care. Be vaccinated. But the point is that of course there are going to be breakthrough infections. Absolutely, we knew this. Scientists said it, and why all of a sudden every time someone gets infected, the news media makes it seem like the vaccines aren't working. The vaccines are working. They're working. Right. They're working far better than almost any other vaccine that we've ever had. And people still got smallpox. People still get the mumps. People still get all this other shit. Even despite the fact that we're vaccinated, they just don't die from it, and far fewer people get it as a result.
Right. It's like Paul said, the vaccine will you can get it, but you'll have mild symptoms. Symptoms. Hello.
You're not gonna end up in the hospital. You're not gonna end up on a ventilator.
Right. I mean, yesterday I gave blood, which was kind of exciting because it's the first time I've given blood since the 80s, because we weren't allowed to give blood. Gay men were not allowed to give blood. They were still stuck in a time fucking warp in the 80s that gay men had AIDS and we weren't allowed to give blood. And yesterday I was so proud to give blood for the first time since the fucking 80s. But was also grand is that I had the antibodies in my plasma for COVID, because I had COVID last November. So they were all excited. Mr. Rankin, here, you want to give another pint? Because there's actually a blood shortage in this country right now, where they only have a 1-day supply of blood yesterday for the whole Clark County here in Nevada and Las Vegas. But it's like Paul said, and like you just enunciated what I was saying, which is, we're not, the news media doesn't tell the whole story. It's clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. But what happens is the ignorant and the uneducated only read the headlines. They never read the rest of the story. They only say, say they got COVID. I mean, I watched it here. There are people in my building who haven't been vaccinated, and I know they haven't been vaccinated, but guess what? They don't wear a mask. They don't care. And it kind of pisses me off. Hold on. Did James get the vaccine? History has shown, especially since the dawn of AI. That's it. Can you
not see my shirt?
Yeah, that's what see Paul, vaccinated as fuck. Oh yeah. Since the AIDS virus, gay men are survivors. We really are. I found out, but you can't give blood if you're on PrEP. Did you know that? Know that there was I was like, whoa, I was on PrEP for a while, but I got off of it when I found out at my age my kidneys could die, my liver would fall out, and I figured, you know what, my liver and kidneys survived the 80s. I just said no, it's not worth it.
So yeah, I don't need to do anything else to my liver these days, but because my history of drinking and texting you. So anyway, so just not to get, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you used to have a Czech liver light that came on at Friday happy hours. Check it! I'm just kidding.
So not to get too much into your personal business, but are you required, do they allow you to donate blood if you haven't had sex within a certain period of time?
What they did was It was like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Like 3 weeks or something. But they have 40 questions. A little guy named Ernesto. Hello, Mr. Addington. How are you? Thank you, Ernesto. Which is this cute little Mexican guy about this tall. He told me the story about worked for the company Vitalant that was doing. They came to my building yesterday. So my building had a blood drive. And I had to fill out the 40 questions on the computer. And but yeah, it was just they do ask about that. They don't ask you verbally. It's on the questionnaire. What happens is they fill out everything and then they go, here, you want to sit down and answer these questions. If you could answer them truthfully, that would be cool. And I did,
Right.
But yeah, that was it. So it's been 3 weeks. Like, I was cool. But I get it. And even then, I don't think that matters because I'm not on PrEP or any of the drugs that are on this. They have the whole list of your liver, a line from Silence of the Lamb. I'll eat it with a glass of Chianti. Somebody just wrote that. But no, it just upsets me, and that is it drives me insane. And then you get the crazies like the Tucker Carlsons of the world who basically every single night scream and yell, there's something wrong. Oh, did you see the guy that got Marjorie Taylor Greene and Gates on the beach?
Oh, with her feet that look like penguin flippers?
But the guy said, people don't like you. And he said, oh, you're not a pedophile, are you, to Matt Gaetz? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God. This happened the other day. I'll find it. They were walking on the beach, and this guy comes up and goes, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is it true people don't like you? And stuff like that. And then he looks to Matt Gaetz, and he goes, but Matt, you're not a pedophile, right? You're not a pet. Well, the Secret Service came up and moved him out of the way. His security detail. I don't know if he has Secret Service or what, but he has some type of security detail.
It must be private security because Congress people typically don't
have.
I mean, and if taxpayers are paying security for Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, then we need to stop doing that.
Right. But anyway, that was I'll send it to you. It's on Twitter. It went viral on Twitter. This guy was great. The guy purposely dressed up in a American flag outfit, so he looked like a Trumper, and he got them both. And you can see they took a photo up, and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene are doing this.
Oh God!
And then the guy goes, "So you're not a pedophile? You're not a pedophile, are you? They say you're a pedophile." I died. I mean, they're such idiots.
Other than Donald Trump, Matt Gaetz is the person I want to see in handcuffs more than anything else.
And they were booing him. They had the video of him getting booed this weekend too, leaving one of the canceled dates that they canceled on him. It just makes me laugh. So how are things going in Virginia? How's everything with the Pride? You made it through the whole month?
So Pride Month was great. Our Pride Festival is in September, so I'm crazy busy doing that, but it's going well.
So you celebrated Pride like everybody else did in the month of June, but you have your own Pride like other states do at a different time.
Yeah, we do, which is, beneficial certainly this year because we could not have had an unrestricted festival with tens of thousands of people there in June, but we can do it in September, assuming all the Trump supporting vaccine deniers don't screw everything up and we have to go back into lockdown. But, but things are going fine. We're in the middle of a gubernatorial race here, which is actually a little concerning because the Republican is actually running pretty well against our Democratic candidate, and there is some concern that the Republican could win, which would be disastrous for us. But I'm hopeful that Virginia will stay blue, so we'll see.
Now, does the DNC come in and help, or are they still being quiet?
Well, yes. I mean, of course they do. And, my inbox is full of emails from, James Carville and, all these other people and all that other bullshit. And, the thing that annoys me, and I get these emails that says, we're losing the race. And I'm like, well, that doesn't give me much confidence here. Like, or like we're screwing this up. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a campaign issue, not like something that I need to see. Like, hey, I want to be inspired. Like, hey, we can win this, help me win, kind of thing. Not, I'm going to lose, which is the emails that we get from the DNC, which,
that election win in November?
Yes, it's in November. So our state legislature and our governor are all elected in November this year. So
it's pretty crazy why this country has everything all fucked up. It's like, why can't you have one election every 4 years or every 2 years?
So there are only 2 states in the country that have off-year elections for their statewide, for their own internal, for governor and state, and it's us and it's like Massachusetts or something. So, well, the worst part about that is that Virginia never gets a break from all the political ads. So we literally, because most states have like, this year nobody's really running political ads. Well, they are in Virginia, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's, thank God for DVR. I almost never watch live television, so I can fast forward through all the crap.
And Hulu, you can do ad free, which is pretty cool.
Yes. Yes. For celebrities like you that can afford it, I don't. But
my big thing is how do we get Schumer out and Klobuchar to run the Senate? I love her. She's so good. She's such a fighter. Am I wrong to say that? What is your opinion on that? Schumer just looks, sometimes it's like he calls it in. He's about as boring as a lost fart in a blizzard.
Well, to be honest with you, who knows? It's going to be a problem that's going to take care of itself, because there's no way the Democrats are going to retain control of the Senate in 2022. Absolutely not. We're going to lose the seat in Georgia. We're not going to. Yeah, we're on the ropes on that one, which is exactly why. And we've talked about this, Joel. You and I talked about this, which is that the only hope we have of actually retaining the Senate is if we do away with the filibuster, or we at least reform it, and we actually pass laws that the United States, that the people of America, that Americans want us to pass. Because everything that Democrats are proposing is wildly popular. It is being held up by 30% of the country, not and those that represent them. That is the whole goal of the Republican Party, which is to not let anything happen, Democrats make any progress or to do anything good for this country, because they know if they do, they will lose, and that Democrats will win because they do what the American people are doing. You're going to see people get very excited about Democrats temporarily here because of all the child tax credits that are hitting this month. So, families of 4 are getting, $12,000 extra a year. That's real money for people. But and that's because of Democrats.
But people like McConnell and them go back to their states and say he got it for them, which is what is amazing to me. It makes me crazy. Yeah. It makes me crazy. Now, I don't know. Manchin, I think what befuddled me this weekend was Manchin went to a Republican fundraiser in Texas this weekend.
Well, so I think one of two things is, I think Manchin is one of two things is going to happen here. I think I would expect that Manchin, when Republicans regain control of, if and when Republicans regain control of the Senate, will switch parties. He would have no reason to stay a Democrat. He could, potentially retain some degree of power and get a good committee assignment or chairmanship if he negotiated switching parties. He could easily run and win again in West Virginia as a Republican. I don't think he could run and win in West Virginia as a Democrat. So when I fully expect him to switch parties if Republicans gain control of the Senate again. Right. He has no reason to stay a Democrat at that point. He doesn't support Democratic policies. So I mean, again, why Joe Biden and why Chuck Schumer are not saying, hey, do you want to have a committee chairmanship here, in exchange for your willingness to work with us? I don't know.
I was trying to tell, I actually was talking to Joel Lawson, because we messaged like I do you on the side privately and stuff. And I'm just like, is there something that's going to happen? Is all of a sudden we're going to have one of these Fridays where Trump is arrested, Ivanka's arrested, all of them go down. And that could change everything. That could change everything. And I keep thinking, is there something going on behind closed doors in the Justice Department and in New York that little by little, the house of cards will crumble and people will see the truth. Now, no matter what happens, if Trump is arrested, it's going to fire up the base even more. They're going to be out with their muskets and their machetes at the Capitol again. No, they're lying. They're arresting, Trump. it just mind boggles.
Well, I mean, yes, but that, I would certainly hope that could happen, but it's certainly, the issues, and this is what Republicans are so good at doing. Yeah. They're never going to debate about real issues that affect the American people. The next election, the congressional elections, the midterm elections are going to be about critical race theory and transgender people participating in high school sports. Those are the two issues. They've already framed them. They're making it sound like that, the average general person living in the suburbs of America is under attack, that liberals are calling you a racist, even if you're not, and that they want you to feel guilty about the fact that you're white. And they want you to think that your kids are going to be exposed to perverts who dress as members of the opposite sex in order to steal the trophies that your children could be winning. None of which is ever going to happen, ever.
No.
So, and so Democrats are now, on the defensive about those issues. First of all, critical race theory isn't taught in schools, never has been, never will be. Critical race theory is a very high level political theory that is taught in law school. It is not taught to anybody that isn't pursuing some degree in advanced political science, law school, social, whatever the other thing is. But it's not anything that your children are going to be exposed to. It is literally a lens through which we look back at history and say, how do we learn from racism in this country so that we can address the issues that exist today?
Right.
And those issues should have been taught years ago, but they've not. And I don't know, I certainly, you went to high school in Virginia, correct? You did? So, I did too. And I grew up, being taught that, and this is shameful, in a small southern town in Virginia, that, the Civil War was the war of Northern aggression,
right?
That slaves enjoyed working for the families that they served, that was in a textbook, and that, I didn't learn about the Tulsa Massacre. I didn't know anything about, that we talked about, Black soldiers coming home from World War II to generous GI benefits, not ever recognizing that, they didn't get them. And you want to understand why people ask, well, why aren't Black people in the same place as white people are? They've been given the same opportunities. Well, when millions of white soldiers came home, the government helped them get a house, helped them get an education, helped them take care of their children. When Black soldiers came home, they got none of that. And so, that's what looking through the lens of critical race theory, that's a good word, critical race theory is.
Back on our lesbian channel, critical. No, you're 100% right. It's insanity. That was just, when you were talking about going to high school, I remember a history class in high school, Captain John Smith and Pocahontas fell in love. It was like, oh, they loved the Indian.
And then you went to high school not far from there. You grew up in Hampton Roads, so the legend of Pocahontas and so.
Oh no, I used to. I remember all of that so well. That's craziness. Wow, thanks for popping on.
Yeah, I gotta run. I gotta go. I have some more work to finish here, and I have to go pick up my car from the shop. So.
This one has. Oh, and by the way, so I guess they have the app now. Somebody said in Virginia for the taxis, because you can't get a cheap Uber or Lyft anymore. I don't know if you saw. Thank you, James.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Someone just wrote, Vicky Briner said, "Thank you, James Milner, for your CRT discussion." That's why I love James. We're gonna have to do another show with you and Joel and Frank again, because that one did really, really well and everybody loved it and went, "Oh, Esther's literate." Esther's literate. She just doesn't look after Latin men. She's literate. She's got smart friends. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the taxi thing. The Uber thing here is ridiculous. It's
put up the other day, yesterday.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't even imagine.
My friend, listen to this. My friend came over 4th of July and was going to go home after the fireworks. They wanted $164 to go from my place here on the Strip to Henderson. $164. He stayed on the couch.
I was going to say, just have another drink.
Here, and have another one. No, it was like, and then the next day it was still $90. It's insane. But they have the Curb. It's called Curb, CURB, the Curb mobile app here in Vegas, and it's all around the country. But they also have the yellow taxi app in DC area. I saw that.
So imagine though for a moment how difficult this is for all the like Grindr hookups. When you get in an Uber and you get to your Trick's house and you're done, and then you can't leave.
Right.
Like, imagine the awkwardness of that.
Or I could have hired a hooker for the cheaper than you're paying.
Right.
I could have gotten a $20 blowjob, but no, I have to spend $95 to get your ass home. Damn. It's so true.
So Grindr ought to partner with Uber and Lyft. Like, that's what they ought to do, like a Grindr discount.
Your XL has a whole new meaning.
And Uber Black. Wow.
There we go. No CRT in this company. I love you, James Milner. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll play our music out, and I'll talk to you later, honey.
Bye.
Let's set it up. We'll get you Joel and Frank again. Hey, everybody. That was fun. I love my friends. They're so smart. They make me look smart. Anyway, this is Michael Arrington.